Marrow's Hollow had always been a quiet town, the kind of quiet that presses against your ears, the kind that makes shadows twitch even in broad daylight. Dr. Evelyn Carter, a pragmatic psychologist fleeing the chaos of the city, didn't believe in superstition. That was her first mistake. The Victorian manor she rented sat at the edge of a dense, whispering forest. Its windows were like watchful eyes, and the air inside was thick, almost suffocating. On her first night, Evelyn felt it. A presence, cold and patient, waiting. It began subtly. A whisper along the hall, just beyond hearing. A fleeting shadow crossing the room. A soft breath against her neck when she was alone. "We've been waiting," she laughed nervously, blaming the wind, until the handprint appeared on her bedroom mirror. Pale, smeared, impossibly large. When she touched it, the glass screamed, cutting her fingers, and the whispers grew louder. Names, secrets, fears she had never shared, spoken by unseen voices just behind her. The veil was thinning. Over the next days, reality warped. Objects moved. Doors slammed. Mirrors reflected not the room, but something else, twisted and watching. Evelyn's dreams became portals. Endless hallways folding in impossible angles, walls crawling with shadows, and figures whispering, inching closer every night. In the attic, she found a journal from previous tenants. It read, "The veil is not just a boundary. It is a hunger. It feeds on what you fear most. It knows your thoughts before you do. If you listen too long, it will take you." By midnight, the veil tore completely. Invisible hands dragged her through the dark, into a space beyond time and reason. Her screams were absorbed by the darkness, replaced by whispers in unison. "Welcome to what lies beyond the veil." The next morning, the house was empty. Evelyn was gone, but the mirrors remained, reflecting a hollow-eyed figure that wasn't her, smiling, waiting. And sometimes, when the wind is right, passers-by hear the soft whisper, "We see you. We are always here, beyond the veil." No one in Marrow's Hollow spoke of Evelyn Carter. The house stood silent, waiting, its walls crawling with unseen eyes. But the veil had not released her. Not yet. Days passed. The townsfolk whispered about strange lights flickering in the manor at midnight. Windows rattled though no wind blew. Children screamed of shadows in the mirrors when they walked past the house. Inside, Evelyn awoke to a darkness thicker than any night she had known. The air smelled of wet earth and something metallic. She wasn't in her bedroom. The walls stretched endlessly, folding over themselves like a labyrinth built by nightmares. Every turn revealed another reflection, hers but wrong. Her eyes too hollow, her mouth frozen in a scream, and the whispers returned. This time they didn't call her name. They asked, "Do you remember the ones you left behind?" Evelyn's heart slammed. Faces formed in the shadows, shapes of people she'd never seen, yet somehow recognized. Small, childlike figures with dark, empty eyes. They reached for her, silent and urgent. She ran. Every hallway she turned into was not the one she left. Doors led to ceilings, floors stretched into darkness, and mirrors became gateways. In one, she saw herself holding a small, crying child, though she had no children. "We are the forgotten," the whispers hissed. "The ones beyond the veil. You must stay with us." Panic clawed at her mind. She found a stairwell descending into the basement. Only it wasn't her basement. It was a cavern of shifting shadows, walls pulsing as if alive. Shapes moved within, whispering, circling. Evelyn realized the veil didn't just separate worlds, consumed them. Her only hope was the journal she had found in the attic. It mentioned a ritual, a way to glimpse the living world from within the veil. But it required a choice. Sacrifice a part of yourself, or remain trapped forever. Evelyn made her choice. She drew a circle, lit candles, and whispered the incantation, her voice trembling. The shadows recoiled, shrieking, twisting in rage. For a moment, the veil thinned, showing her the real world outside. A town bathed in moonlight, oblivious to her suffering. But then the shadows returned, stronger, faster. Hands gripped her arms, cold as death, and a voice, older than time, whispered directly into her mind. There is no escape, not for the living, not for the unseen. You are ours, Evelyn Carter. The last thing she saw before darkness consumed her entirely was her own reflection smiling back. A reflection that wasn't hers anymore. The town of Marrow's Hollow slept under a sky so still it felt like the world had held its breath. But inside the Victorian manor, Evelyn Carter was awake, trapped in a place that defied reality. The veil had fully consumed the house, twisting time, space, and memory into something unrecognizable. She wandered endless corridors of shadows. Mirrors lined the walls, each reflecting her in ways that were wrong. Eyes hollow, skin pale as ash, hands twisted into unnatural angles. Behind every reflection, shapes moved, faceless, whispering, watching. The whispers were no longer distant. They were inside her mind, drilling into her thoughts, replaying her fears, her regrets, the mistakes she had buried deep. You belong here, beyond the veil with us. The journal she had once relied on lay in her hands. It promised a way to escape, a ritual requiring a complete surrender of memory, a trade of her past, present, and identity for one fleeting chance to return to the living world. Evelyn hesitated. The thought of losing herself was terrifying, but the thought of remaining here, forever invisible, tormented by the unseen, was worse. She traced the symbols in the journal, chanting words older than the town itself. The shadows recoiled, shrieking with voices layered over centuries of anguish. The walls of the manor bent inward. The floor cracked, revealing an endless abyss below. Hands of darkness erupted from the cracks, clawing, grasping. Evelyn's body trembled, her mind fraying under the pressure of 1,000 eyes staring into her soul. We are the forgotten. We are the ones you denied. We are the veil itself. A chorus of voices hissed. In that moment, Evelyn glimpsed the real world beyond the veil. The town was quiet, the streets empty, unaware. For a heartbeat, she felt hope. But the shadows surged like a tidal wave, and the abyss opened wider, threatening to swallow her completely. Her only choice was the ultimate surrender. She whispered her name, her memories, everything she had loved, feared, and hoped for, offering it all to the darkness. The veil quivered, screaming, as if enraged by her sacrifice. And then silence. When she opened her eyes, Evelyn was standing outside the manor. The town was peaceful, normal. The streetlights flickered in a calm rhythm. She felt the cool night air on her skin. Relief surged. She was free. But as she looked at her reflection in a nearby puddle, her breath caught. The eyes staring back were not hers. Hollow, black, and endless. Behind her, in the shadows of the manor, a figure watched. Evelyn herself, or what remained of her, a fragment now claimed by the veil. A whisper floated on the wind. There is no escape. We are always watching beyond the veil. The town slept on, oblivious, but anyone who passed the manor at night swore they saw shadows move inside the windows. And those who listened closely could hear the faintest whisper, repeating over and over, "Evelyn, come back." The veil never truly releases its victims. It waits, patient and eternal, feeding on the living, pulling them beyond what they see, beyond what they know. The unseen forces are always present, and one day they will reach for you.